Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 31st. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. You can take a look at the infrared satellite imagery here and see the state of Oregon, California there. We still have some offshore winds going on there. We had some fire activity, including the Highland fire here across some of the higher portions of Southern California. We'll take a little bit of a look at that in some detail, and then we'll take a look at the extended forecast coming up here. So it looks like we're going to get some rainfall, especially for the northern half of California, and there's some sharp cutoff here in the precipitation amount across some of the Bay Area. We'll take a look at what the weather models have to say about that. Looking closely, if I put this into motion, you can see that Highland fire there spark up and start to kick the smoke into the atmosphere there as we went through yesterday afternoon. Then you can see the sunset across the region. There's also the Lizzie fire up here off to the north and west as well. So yeah, it is still fire danger out there. So hopefully everybody's being safe and we can keep this to a minimum. But you can see about 2,200 acres there. There's the Highland fire. There's Oceanside out here, San Diego off to the south there. So yeah, still fire season here across much of the Southwest. And you can see the offshore wind still going on out here. We still have some wind advisories out here across some of the higher terrain especially. And you can see where the Highland fire there is off to the east of Temecula. Now, taking a look at the wider view of California, you can see still a little bit of offshore flow across some of this here in Nevada, fairly light there. And then you can see the typical north flow down the coastal regions here also. So yeah, lightening up the winds here though as we go through the next day or so. We're going to continue the offshore flow a little bit stronger across Southern California. I'll show you that here now in the NAM 3KM model. It's a high resolution model here. The NAM stands for North American Model. And here's the state of California. Put it into motion. Yeah, I just see we getting a little burst here as we go through this morning. Then we start to relax a little bit as we go through this afternoon, but you can kind of see these winds continuing on as we go on in through Wednesday morning here as well. Go on in through Wednesday afternoon. You can see things finally lighten up here across much of the area. And then you can see the next frontal system start to approach Northern California and the big storm systems rolling into the Pacific Northwest here. But we're going to start to bring some precipitation chances here for the state of California here in the northern half, mainly the Bay Area north, but also some interesting signals showing up here in the extended here for a deep trough digging down even towards Southern California. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And just a reminder, some of the interior valleys, freezing conditions out there through Tuesday morning here. So this will be wrapping up as we go. This was issued yesterday afternoon. Here we go with the wind advisory still in effect. And you can see red flag warning. So there's still some fire danger out there. You know, keep your wits about you. This day in SoCal weather history, October 31st. Look at this remains tropical storm Selma and a cold front along the coastline here joined forces and we had some pretty big rainfall amounts. And you can see Mount Wilson over 3 inches in 24 hours and some pretty intense flooding out there and some auto accidents killed some people as well. So that was the satellite imagery of that back in 1987 on Halloween. And if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. It's always more fun to watch the storm systems roll in or even the Santa Ana winds or any kind of winds when you've got a weather station attached to your house. Highly recommend this station. I've been testing it against much more expensive equipment and it does very well for a much lower price here than spending thousands of dollars on a home weather station. So here we're looking at the national blend of models. As you can see, the temperatures today across much of the area, pretty nice and comfortable out there and even not too hot across the desert areas. Some nice trick-or-treating conditions for much of the area, as long as you're not involved with some of that smoke out and about there. But it should be few and far between. But just heads up for that, we still do have some elevated fire concerns across Southern California. But as we go through the next couple of days, you can see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So not much change coming up here, but you can see a little bit of a cool down coming as we look to get some frontal systems coming up towards this week. And we'll take a look at that here in a second. You can see a little bit more of a cool down as we go on into next week here, but we'll take a look at that here now, starting with the European. As of yesterday afternoon, you can see Washington, California, there's the Hawaiian Islands down here, Pacific Ocean. And you can see the storms getting organized out there across the ocean as we put this on into motion here as we go on in through the day tomorrow. You can see this really start to shrink and push down to the southeast here, and we start to get some systems into the Pacific Northwest, and then we start to bring that into the northern half of California, and we could be bringing some precip all the way down towards the Bay Area as well. And check out this trough digging down on yesterday afternoon's European run here. So kind of interesting stuff on through the extended, especially towards the end of the run there. This could bring some precipitation even down through Southern California as well. But it's just something interesting to watch for now. It's a little bit fantasy at this point, but we are increasing confidence and increasing the odds that we're going to bring some precipitation precipitation, Bay Area northward here as we go through the upcoming weekend. And this is looking at the GFS, same thing here. Again, this is 18,000 feet, general ridge and trough position, troughing out here, storm activity. You're getting a convergence and clouds and high pressure means sinking air and generally warmer conditions here. And as we go through this week, you can see some of this activity moving into the Pacific Northwest. And then we start to get some atmospheric river activity moving into Oregon, Washington, and that could be taking aim at California here as well. So interesting stuff as we go through the extended forecast and on in through next week. You can see that troughing digging on the GFS as well. This will be bringing some precipitation all the way down across some portions of central California and northern California as well. Take a look at those precipitation amounts here coming up. But you can see it is November and we start to get these systems this time of year across much of the West Coast. This is looking at 6-hour precipitation type. This is the GFS. Put it into motion here and you can see the first sign of some precip here for Northern California, extreme northern portions comes on Thursday morning. And then we start to sag the south across some of the Bay Area and some mountain snowfall as we go through Friday shown here. And then another system there, maybe a little bit of atmospheric river with that as well, all the way down towards the Bay Area. So yeah, we got some interesting weather here coming up. You can see a tropical system down here, not expected to impact the southwest USA at this point, but you can see additional troughing out here across the Pacific Ocean. May bring some additional systems on in through the fantasy period here. This is out over 10 days here, but you can see a frontal system moving across California at that time as well. Now, looking at the 7-day precipitation here, this is a National Weather Service product, and you can see some pretty heavy precipitation amounts here. And this ends Tuesday, November 7th, early in the morning, but some areas of northwest California could be getting 6-7 inches out of this. So you can see just the kind of the sharp cutoff here right around Sacramento and the Bay Area. And you're looking at portions of the Sierra Nevada, northern Sierra Nevada, getting perhaps 2 or more inches out of this as well. Fort Bragg, you see 2.4. But this will be in flux here over the next few days, and we'll continue to watch it and break it down and see just exactly what kind of impacts these systems are going to have. Here's a 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. High likelihood that we are going to be above average during this time frame all the way through November 9th. And you can see the precipitation, kind of the sharp cutoff there somewhere right across the Bay Area, but does extend a little bit further south into some of the Central Valley as well. So definitely something we'll be watching. And you can see the below average signal here across a lot of Arizona, kind of clipping Utah there, and just very clipping Nevada there, just off to the east of Las Vegas, and New Mexico below average as well. This is looking at that fire weather outlook here. And you can see some of that elevated risk here near the Los Angeles metro. Just a heads up for that. I've talked about that a couple of times already. And this is the risk of heavy precipitation. You can see the extent it's a little bit further south towards the Bay Area as you go through November 7th through the 13th here. So just kind of something off in fantasy land for us to enjoy. And risk of high winds, it goes all the way from Northern California across the Pacific Northwest. And it also now includes Southern California as well. So we'll watch this over the next few days, and we'll try to see if we can increase the odds on this developing or not. And one more look at the drought monitor. We like to look at this once in a while, especially that drought is free of California, just some abnormally dry across northern and extreme southeast portions here. Nevada generally clear of it as well. Maybe a little bit of moderate drought near the Las Vegas area out there. Arizona and New Mexico not doing quite as hot, in some of western Colorado as well, and a little bit of Utah. But the Pacific Northwest, it's got some pretty drought-stricken areas also. This is a significant wildland fire potential outlook. This was for October here, and we were generally below normal fire risk, and you can see Hawaii kind of above average there. But now this is for November here, just kind of average, just normal at this point, and we still can be burning things here across California during this time of the year. So, it's always just worth to keep that in the back of your mind, as we still have a couple active fires that developed over the last couple of days as well. And you can see Hawaii, just entire state, just above normal at this point. But yeah, anyway, we'll continue to watch these systems here. Interesting stuff. The storm train is going to be returning to the West Coast. How much of California will that include? Some of the models are showing some interesting troughing developing here as we go through the week plus time period here. Still fantasy right now, but something we'll be watching for sure. Probably be doing a live stream here in the next day or two, just to kind of take a look at things and see what's going on and introduce myself again to the channel, and hope you guys can stop by for that and we can do some Q&A. But otherwise, we will go ahead and do this again tomorrow. I hope you guys are having a good day. Happy Halloween, everybody, and I will talk to you guys then.